Guys, it's like 7 a.m. I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning and literally I put everything aside that I was going to do this day and this morning because I was sitting here. I got up, made my bed, came here for a quick coffee. I did my push-ups over here on the balcony. I filmed it, look, the tripod is still there. And I came out here and I did my push-ups this morning like I do each and every single morning over here. And then I just sat down on the couch and I looked at the view and I sat down for a moment in silence, just thinking. And then I realized how quickly life can change. So I was just sitting down here looking at this view. And it just made me think, like, what was it that allowed me to get here, to move into this apartment? Because I just moved in. As you can see, like, there's only a couch here. I still need to get my TV here. I need to get like the floor thing here. I still need to get my dinner table, which is coming soon. I am going to put an extra desk over here because I like living or working in the living room, as well as having my own office so I can choose. And it made me think, what was it that brought me here? Because I used to go to school on my bicycle. I used to live a few blocks away. And I used to bike here to school. And when this building was being built, I remember when they put on the fence, they put on the pictures of what the building is going to be like. And I always looked at it and I thought, like, holy shit, imagine that people can live over there. That people get to live a life where they live in such apartments. So I literally got straight to my computer and I thought, okay, let me work it out what it was that allowed me to get here. Because as you can see, I didn't even put away my plate, just made another coffee. And I came to the conclusion that it's a pretty simple process that anyone can implement. And I've worked it all out. So just made myself this coffee. I'm going to go to my desk right now and I'm going to lay it all out for you so that you as well can make the same kind of transformation with this very simple process, because it has helped me. It has been the reason I have been able to do what I have done in like 2 years, to the point where I didn't have any money, was making €6 an hour as a dishwasher, and now have an office with this view in the background, but I like working in the dark, so let me put it out. So without further ado, just let's get into the video and make sure that you watch this till the end, because this process has changed my life, and I'm fucking sure that if you implement it the right way with the right intensity for a long enough time frame, that it will change yours as well. Right, guys, so here we are. Like I said, I spent this entire morning working this thing out. It's the simple 3-step process that I used in order to change my identity, to eliminate self-sabotage forever. Because I used to self-sabotage all the time. And I used to think I just needed more discipline, more motivation, or another strategy. I thought that it was just tactics. I thought if I can buy the right course, the right information, he will tell me exactly what to do step by step. And if I just do that and find that one golden nugget, then I will be set for life. That was this guy. That was not this guy. All right? Because the truth is, and this process helped me go from this degenerate smoking weed all day to here I was staying in the Park Hyatt in Istanbul for like, I think it was €380 a night for like 2 weeks. So it's just this process helped me get very, very far, and I just want you to know how it works. But the truth is, it's not about more motivation, another strategy, just being more disciplined, another tactic, finding that golden nugget. No, I wasn't failing because I wasn't trying hard enough. I was failing because I was still being the person who always stepped out when it got hard. So I always used to buy courses, get the tactics that I thought I needed. But like with everything that's worthwhile, it's gonna be hard. And if you tap out the moment it gets hard, then the tactics won't work, will it? I would make progress 3 steps forward, and whenever I hit my first roadblock, I self-sabotaged, grabbed the weed or alcohol, and went 10 steps backward again. This was the vicious cycle that I was trapped in. And if this sounds familiar, this video will teach you exactly step by step how to get out of this vicious guilt and shame loop, because that's what it is. I'm going to explain it right here. That keeps you trapped in a low frequency state and makes you feel like you'll never reach your full potential, no matter how badly you want it. So this is the frequency chart, and this is something that goes way above most people's heads. But we as living organisms have a certain frequency, and we can be operating at a low frequency or a high frequency. The lowest of the lowest of the lowest is guilt and shame. And when you self-sabotage with alcohol, with weed, with doing things that you regret, you keep stuck in guilt and shame. You do something, then you're ashamed for it, you feel guilty about it, and then you self-sabotage again because you're operating from a low frequency mindset. When you're operating in low frequency, you self-sabotage and you keep going back and forth between guilt, shame, and self-sabotage. This process is meant to get you up here, to get you into a high frequency state, so you can actually follow through, where you can put the right amount of energy into the things that you're doing. Because the solution was simple. The real solution wasn't doing more or learning more. It was becoming someone who doesn't self-sabotage. It was becoming a high frequency person by doing fewer things, but the right things that build the new identity of the man you need to become, so that success in every area becomes inevitable. Because it's not that you don't know enough, it's that you are not the kind of person and you don't have the character traits it takes in order to follow through and to persevere when it gets hard. I have gone through the years of trial and error, falling and getting up, falling and doubting myself. So now you can copy my exact method, so you don't have to go through the years of trial and error. And an overview of the system is pretty simple. We have vision. This is where you dial in the process and step into vision congruency, create your vision and cognitive dissonance, and you're going to set 3 meaningful goals. Then we move into alignment, aligning who you are right now and who you want to become. We do this through habitual construction, remove what's not in alignment, and building habits directly tied to your vision. Then we move into the daily process. This is where you dial in the process and step into vision congruence. I see that I copy pasted this. I'm not even going to record this again, guys. This is where you dial in the process and step into vision congruence. This is where you dial in the vision and you know where you want to go. All right? Like I said, I made this at 4 a.m. Don't mind me if I made some mistakes. Let's start off with the vision. Guys, you cannot build a new life if you don't know who you're becoming. All right? The first step is to create a clear vision of who you want to become, mentally, physically, and financially. When you do this, do not let any limiting beliefs get in the way, all right? We all have these limiting beliefs put upon us by people with small mindsets that raised us, and we copied their beliefs. But if you're rational, looking at the world like it really is, there's so many people who achieved great things from absolutely nothing. Why? Because they didn't let limiting beliefs from the people around them limit them in what they thought was possible. Because whatever you think is possible is possible. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve, all right? So if you have certain things that you conceive in your mind and that you actually believe you could do, then you can do them. And you shouldn't let any limiting beliefs get into the way. And be specific here. How much money do you make per month? What does your physique look like? The way you think, the way you carry yourself, the way you approach life when nobody is watching, all right? The person that you're actually becoming when nobody is watching, when it's just you and you alone. When you got this done, and this is something I made for myself back then, this is something that you can make for yourself as well, which you can look at every morning, and this is not some spiritual bullshit, this is just reminding yourself every single day and making it visual where you want to go. When you got this dialed in, you need to get brutally honest about where you are today, all right? You need to get brutally honest about the lifestyle that you're living and the actions and the habits that you undertake and the way that you think. Because there will be a big gap, all right? There will be a big gap. And this gap will create cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the inner discomfort you feel when your actions and your beliefs about yourself are in conflict. So if you believe that you have this vision and that you want to go here, but your actions are not aligned and you're actually aware of the fact, because most people are not aware of the fact that their actions are aligned with a very different vision and a very different future than the one that they actually want to go. When you're aware of this fact, this will create a conflict. This conflict must be so uncomfortable that it will allow you to change. So most people, they run from that discomfort, all right? They numb it with instant gratification like food, weed, scrolling, alcohol, anything to avoid facing the truth. They try to numb that feeling, that discomfort that is telling them, hey, you need to do something else because what you're doing right now is not going to bring you where you want to go. And what they are doing right now is what's feeling comfortable. They don't want to get uncomfortable, so they numb themselves to distract themselves from that uncomfortable feeling. But the key is to feel that discomfort, to sit in it, to feel it. Because we as humans are wired to escape pain. We will do everything it takes to escape pain. If I have red hot coals and I lay you on your back on those coals without the t-shirt and it burns, you get up. You get up immediately. Why? Because we are wired to escape pain. And your job is to make the gap so clear. Because real transformation begins when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change. When you lay on those coals, the pain of changing is easier than the pain of staying there. That's what you want to create mentally by creating the gap and feeling the discomfort of that gap, right? Because real transformation, because your job is to make that gap so clear, so uncomfortable, so painful that taking aligned action becomes your only option that you have. Doing what you're doing right now will not even be an option anymore. All right? Next, once the vision is clear, most people make two mistakes. They either do nothing with it and they keep dreaming without any direction or distracting themselves, or they set random goals that actually don't matter. Now, the fewer goals you have, the more focus and intensity you can bring into each one of them. All right? One goal in the right direction is worth more than 5 in the wrong one. And to figure out what goals actually matter, you need to ask yourself one guiding question from the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. All right? It's what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary. In every area of life, mentally, physically, and financially, there's one goal that changes the game. Nail that one goal and the rest takes care of itself. So for example, my mindset goal was not, I want to read more. I want to stop procrastinating. I just need to be more disciplined. No, it was, I will wake up at 4 a.m. every day and complete my morning routine. This one thing, this one change eliminated late night drinking, procrastinating, because who the fuck wakes up at 4 a.m. to not do anything? I got straight to work. It limited any distractions and it made me more disciplined. So one input-based goal solved multiple outcomes, all right? Now, I did this correctly for my mindset goals, but I made the mistake of setting output-based goals for the physical and financial areas. I set the goal of making 10K a month and benching 120 kilograms. But what were the inputs that were going to get there? That were going to get me there? This later turned into goals like I will not deviate from my training and macros until 77 kilos of body weight. All right? This is the way that you set goals. Start with I will and then the inputs that it takes to get the outcome that you want. Now you're going to make one financial goal, one mental goal, and one physical goal. Again, 4 a.m. This should have been physical. All right? Next, we're going into the alignment phase. Knowing who you want to become means nothing. If your daily actions still belong to the person you're trying to leave behind, nothing changes. All right? This is where habitual construction comes in. It means building daily habits on the other side of your vision, turning the actions that will create the future you desire into things you do without thinking about them. You don't need to hype yourself up or search for motivation, because when the right habits are in place, you just do them. And this comes from the book Atomic Habits, I think. And it says, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. And remember, we try to become the person who attains success by default. We try to become a person with a character that makes success inevitable. So yes, it's hard at first, but if you stick with it long enough, the actions that build your dream life become your baseline and success stops feeling like a battle. All right? This was me a few years ago. And next thing I want you to understand, because this is very important, everyone talks about what you need to start doing. But the first move actually is to stop doing what's keeping you stuck. Yeah? You don't build a new identity on top of self-sabotage. You clear space for it by removing the habits that keep you trapped in the version of you that can't win. Because success doesn't begin with doing more, it begins with doing less of what's killing your momentum, alright? I used to think that I could build a business while getting blackout drunk 4 or 5 nights a week and smoking weed all day. I was journaling, setting goals, listening to podcasts, creating websites, but I wasn't willing to let go of the destructive habits that were keeping me average, alright? The guy you see here on the right tried everything, but got nowhere. Because I wasn't willing to remove what didn't belong in the life I said I wanted. So you need to ask yourself, what habits, behaviors, or coping mechanisms are stealing my future? Start there, because who you stop being matters just as much as who you become, alright? Next up, number 3. Once I removed the habits that were holding me back, the drinking, the smoking, the distractions, I suddenly had time. A lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of money left, because I wasn't spending it on bullshit drinks in the club and weed and whatever the fuck, right? But I didn't know what to do with it at first. So I started waking up at 4 a.m, mindset. I started training early in the morning, mindset and physique. And because I was training, I started focusing on my food as well. Because without the food, the training doesn't make any sense. I started tracking my macros consistently, and this was what built the physique. I had nothing pulling me backward anymore, so I started thinking, okay, what's next? I saw that I was making progress. I saw, okay, if I put in the right amount of effort, I actually progress. What the fuck is next? I invested in mentors, went to masterminds, read books, and I worked on my mindset even more. And that's how it starts, right? Not with some master plan where you start and you know already step by step what you're going to do in the next 3 years, but you create space. And you fill that space with alignment. And what you need to understand is that the path illuminates as you walk it, alright? You will never know exactly what the whole path and the whole journey is going to look like at the start, but you need to start walking it and it will show up. As you go, the path will become clearer and clearer and clearer, alright? And now it's your turn to do this. I don't believe that anybody watching this is born with some special weird mind or some special weird body. So you already know what to do for the mindset and for your body, alright? Wake up at 4 or 5 a.m, train, eat right, and repeat. That's all you gotta do to build your mindset and to build your physique. When it comes to the financial goals, that's personal. I cannot tell you the exact habit that you need to build because it depends on where you're going and what the skills are that you're using to get there, alright? Whatever that one financial goal is, you need to build habits that make it inevitable. Do you think that Ronaldo became the greatest by training sometimes? No, it became a habit. It became a habit to train as hard as possible and to become as good as possible. Do you think Andrew Tate built an empire by posting once in a while? No, he was making content every single day. It became a habit to make the content. Why? Because those are the one things that will make everything else easier. Andrew Tate could have sat down and thought, okay, I need to become better at funnels. I need to become better at sales. I need to become better at creating products. But guess what? Without the content, all the other things don't matter. If you have the right content and you have enough leads, like he is, with so many people that are coming in, the rest doesn't really matter. And at least it's going to make it easier, all right? This is how you need to think about the one thing. Like Ronaldo, was he thinking, I need to learn how I need to talk on press conferences or how to build my social media or anything to get more? No, I need to become the fucking best. And that's going to make everything else easier because people won't care what I say on press conferences if I'm the best in the world. And sponsors just want to work with me if I'm the best in the world. So I need to focus on becoming the best. This is how you need to think about the one thing. They had habits tied to their vision and they did it every single day until it became who they were. All right? Next up, we know where we want to go. We know what we need to do each and every single day to get there. We know what we need to remove from our lives, all right? Now we get into the daily process. Now that you've removed the habits that were holding you back and replaced them with habits that actually aligned with where you want to go, it's time to bring structure to all of this, all right? That means putting those habits into a daily process you can follow every single day. When you calendar your habits into a system that actually moves you forward, you stop obsessing over massive goals. You don't know how to reach, right? Because most people are so obsessed with making $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, $1 million. Focus on today. How are you going to make $1 million today? No, focus on learning a profitable skill today. Then focus on making $300 today. Then focus on making $1,000 today. Then focus on putting systems in place that allow you to make $1,000 a day without your effort. This is how you get to the million. Focus on today. When you do this, you stop living in the future, right? And you finally learn to be present and focus on today. The next day, then the next day. Being in the present is the high frequency state, all right? That is neutrality, that is acceptance, that is joy, that is peace, that is enlightenment. When you live just in the moment, just live in today. That's why I say this process is going to make you get into that high frequency state where you just live in this moment, where you live your entire day in flow state. What is flow state? Flow state is that state of mind where you don't think about anything else but the present, all right? When I'm making this video right now, I'm not thinking about anything else that I have to do later on. I don't think about anything else from the past. I don't think about my goals in the future. I'm just focused on this video right now, here, in the present moment, making something that might be valuable for one or two of you guys, all right? Let's see, where were we? Yeah, so you're going to live today, then the next day, then the next day by day, moment by moment, minute by minute, minute by minute. Because most people, they try to hit home runs all the time, right? They overreach, they miss, they burn out, and then they start over again. That's why they keep buying meme coins, blow their money, and then wake up in their mom's basement 3 years later wondering what the fuck happened, why didn't I make any progress? Because you're trying to skip the entire phase of little progress amounting to big progress together. You want to skip the entire phase and jump the progress to the end stage, but it doesn't work like that. So you get punished for it and you're still in the same place that you were 3 years ago, all right? My focus is base hits every single day, over and over, because consistent progress beats everything else, all right? Next, the actual daily process. For me, my daily process is very simple. It's 4 simple daily habits to create vision congruency, meaning the habits I perform daily are congruent with the size and scope of my vision. This is why the vision was so important, because we need to make sure that the things that we do each and every single day are in alignment and congruent with where we want to go and with the size of where we want to go, all right? Because if your vision is making $1 million a month, yeah, with sales, I'm just making something up. If your goal is to make $1 million a month with sales, guess what? Practicing for half an hour a day is not going to be aligned with the size of the vision, all right? Becoming better at sales every single day is aligned with making it in sales, of course, but not with the size. If your goal is to make 5K a month with sales, all right, half an hour a day, fine. But your daily habits need to be aligned with the direction that you're going and the size of the vision of where you're going, all right? So for me, this is what it looks like. You can use it as a reference or starting point for your own, but you need to create your own as well, because this is dependent on my goals, my belief systems, and where I want to go, right? I have a 4 or 5 a.m. morning routine. Yeah? Mostly 4 a.m., sometimes it becomes 5 a.m., right? That's the wake up. Then I go into my morning routine. It's hydrating, half liter of water, 100 push-ups, cold shower, reading 5 or 10 pages. Takes me about 30 minutes in total. Then I have a daily workout, strength or cardio, depending on the day. 5 or 6 times a week strength, then 1 or 2 days of cardio. My macros are tracked and aligned with my current physique goals. And then I have 3 to 5 key money-making tasks. I start with the biggest one, then I knock out 3 or 4 smaller ones, right? That's it. If I do those things, I win the day. And if I win enough days, I win the week, I win the month, I win the year, I win the decade, etc. And the outcome will take care of itself. So don't overcomplicate this. Build a day that aligns with your vision and then repeat it until you don't even have to think about it anymore, right? This is my default day. I don't have to think about it anymore. I just get up, do my morning routine, do my work, and I don't need any motivation to do it. I don't need any people to hold me accountable. I don't negotiate with myself. I just do what I need to do because it has become my identity by doing this process for such a long time that there's no other way I could even live. Yeah? Because the cognitive dissonance, the uncomfort between your actions and your vision conflicting is so bad for me that if I don't do this in a day, I can't even sleep. I will go to bed and can't even close my eyes because I know I didn't win the day. All right. Next, to hold myself accountable and stay aligned, I use a simple daily journal structure to make sure that I said that I actually do what I said I would do. So if you don't track your habits, you can fall off for days, even weeks, before you realize you're actually slipping up. But when you track it daily, the second you fuck up, when you go to bed without checking every single box, you'll see it immediately. It's either there on paper or it's not. You either did it or you did it or you didn't do it. Yeah? When your head hits the pillow at night, you either did the work or you didn't do the work. And the journal and the checking the boxes is going to make sure that it's black on white, pen on paper, visible for yourself at the end of the day if you did your work or not. Second day, third day, fourth day in a row, you don't do it, you know you're slipping up, right? So here's how I do it. First, I write down my 3 core goals that we made in step 1. Every single night I write it again. Not once a month, not once a quarter, every single night, so I never forget what I'm working towards, right? I wouldn't even forget for a day. Then I write out my morning routine. This is so that when I wake up, there's no thinking, I'm not negotiating with myself. I can go straight into checking boxes, which puts me into a state of action. And that momentum carries itself straight into the rest of the day, all right? So when I wake up, let me zoom in here. All right, this is my notebook structure. I put on the date, 1, 2, 3 goals. Then I wake up at 4 a.m. here. Okay, I walk to the kitchen, hydrate, check. 100 push-ups, check. Cold shower, check. Read 5 or 10 pages, check. And then this momentum of checking boxes directly moves into here. Number 1 task of the day. Sit down, don't do anything until that is done. Check. Probably go to the gym here. Then I get home. Pop. Number 2, check. 3, check. Pop. This is how you build momentum to check boxes and to get the work done, all right? Right, and then finally, I write 5 key tasks for the day. That's what I just showed you with the other tasks that I'm doing, right? One thing followed by 3 or 4 supporting tasks that I know will move me forward if I get them done. That's it. That's how I went from this to living in this apartment, all right? This journal right here is how this entire system comes together, all right? This is how you stay in a high frequency mind state. This is how you go from this to this. This is how you change your identity to eliminate self-sabotage forever, all right? So let me leave you with this. You don't fix self-sabotage by forcing more discipline. You fix it by becoming someone who no longer needs to rely on willpower. Someone whose default habits build their future and not destroy it. That person is not some distant version of you, years in the future. It's one decision away. You can do this today and start living that version of yourself tomorrow. Every time you follow the process from tomorrow forward, you prove something to yourself. You reinforce who you are and who you are not anymore, all right? You become this new identity and you kill your old identity. Your current self, you're going to leave it in the past and you're going to work towards becoming your new self. And when you do that enough times, you wake up one day and the self-sabotage loop is gone. You are not longer stuck in the guilt and shame loop because it no longer fits who you are, right? This is how I changed, and if this clicked for you, that's how you will change as well. And this isn't a tactic, it's not a trick, it's a full identity shift, all right? And now that you know how, it's time to do it for yourself, all right? I hope this might have opened 1 or 2 people's eyes. My last video got 6 views. If out of that 6 views, 1 person can watch this till the end and actually change his life, it's gonna be worth it for me, all right, guys? Ciao, ciao. See you in the next one.